Citi challenged in the ongoing registration exercise.
I have been contesting elections in this constituency since 2012. So I don't understand how anybody in his right senses will even think about. Maybe they are scared that I'm registering here.
Meanwhile, the mass registration exercise is in its last phase.
Manchakra, maybe I name is 15 to 20 minutes. No, my year, no. Oba won't check. That is a coffee.
Also in the news, with 4 months to the 2020 general elections, President Akufo-Addo promises less privileged students an avenue to gain tertiary education.
Universities, how do we make universities accessible? Right now, we but we can organize a system. University
And a week after the second phase of easing COVID-19 restrictions were announced, Citi News interacts with some churches following the announcement that it can operate at full capacity.
We've decided that today, the 1st of August, we'll be meeting to have a final decision from the board. And then we'll circulate it to the members, and then we'll know how we'll arrange.
Now, in our first story, more than 50 traders have been affected after fire swept through shops and other structures at the French line section of the Kumasi Central Market.
Well, the fire, which started at about 10 p.m. on Friday, destroyed properties running into thousands of Ghana cedis. The victims, most of whom could not salvage anything from their burnt shops and structures, want the government to come to their aid.
Citi News' Ashanti regional correspondent Hafiz Tijani reports.
These traders woke up on Saturday to news of the fire at their trading place. They are saddened about the situation and left with no option than to clear the debris. Grace Jifa Watin, a food vendor, is one of the affected traders.
Yesterday around 11 o'clock, and I heard a call that our area is burning. We rushed here and we couldn't stand it at all. So this morning we came back, everything was burnt. The saucepan we used in cooking, our food styles, rubber, things we used in selling, you can see for your eye, everything has gone down. So we are pleading that if the government can come to our aid, or not more.
The cause of the fire is not officially known, but traders spoke about what they have lost to the fire.
Machines no yedinyam mukusam. Nti ana ntusu for no man so mo yedua no mbenya mo ntusu ne ehwo aka ne abawa ase. Machines ne die because a lot team make us say bia sisi die means me yede emfa bitirim mbo enyede enka because make us say ontoni na apreko kakra nti no at least the ebe cost more than 8,000.
Me at Tomage and then toast and I side cree and never be brain near Tony a provision never be brain near Tony was say that's where the Ababu Sani at the Edjuma sending in ashing to Madaro Mamma Boy.
Other traders tried salvaging what is left of their belongings from the debris. Traders here are appealing for government support. The Kumasi Central Market has recorded a number of fires over the years. Phase 2 of the redevelopment of the market is in progress. Kumasi Mayor Osei SBNP, who later visited the scene, told journalists such incidents will be over when the reconstruction of the market is completed.
The reason why we want to rebuild the whole market is to avoid the repetition of such fires. because the market, as you know, is more than 100 years old. And for a market that is more than 100 years old, it can tell you how old the structures are and how old the systems are. And as such, the only way out to make sure that the frequent fire happenings to stop is to give them a new fees. So that is the reason why we are urging all those who are trading in the old market to heed to our call for the relocation for the contractor to have access to the site.
Affected traders here are traumatized over the incident. From the Kumasi Central Market, Hafiz Tijani for Citi News.
In his 14th address on COVID-19 to the nation, the President, Nana Akufo-Addo, announced the further easing of restrictions. Now, one major feature is the lifting of all kinds of restrictions on religious activities. So for now, churches can have a cool 2-hour service, and the cap of 100 people has also been lifted. Today on the Citi Newsroom, we are on the streets of Accra to find out how the Christian community is accepting this and how prepared churches are to receive large numbers. My name is Fremedunyame. So I am currently here at the Prince Emmanuel SDA Church at the Ringway Estate, and I'm going to be finding out are people inside, how many of them are inside, and if really they are ready, to have the whole congregation come back. Right, so I have here with me the head of the 7 elders, Nana Jemfi, and he's going to tell us how the Seventh-day Adventist Church is adjusting to this new normal. Thank you very much. Welcome to the Citi Newsroom.
You're welcome.
Right. So, we know that with COVID-19 around, there were some restrictions. The churches were earlier closed down entirely, and then we came to opening up a little bit to have 1-hour church service and also a maximum of 100 people. Now, from 1st August, the president said that churches can now go back and have like 2-hour service, and then there's not really any cap on the number of people. So per how many people your church can accommodate, depending on social distancing, you are free to go with. How do you receive this as the head of the 7 elders?
Yes, we have been doing online service since the partial lockdown, and then subsequently, we try to see how we can really organize for about 100 people, and we wanted to put in place all the protocols, try to create the environment where people will be protected from COVID-19. And we form a task force, to really help us with that. Then we have the directive from the government that when we put all those measures in place, we should inform the municipal assembly, and then they will come to just evaluate whatever we have done, assessed, and then grant permission for us to worship. Now we have been able to put everything in place, and next week we'll be going to the municipal authorities to come and really evaluate and assess what we have done. And if they give us the green card to go ahead, then we can start worship. So we are proposing maybe the 3rd week of August. But until then, we are still having online service. But we have people who come in to also be part of the online service. At least we can take about 50 to 60 people with social distancing. That's what we are doing.
If you are no longer doing the online service, if the task force come to check all the measures that you've put in place, how many people roughly are you going to be having at a service?
Okay, I think we may have about 120 people. Yeah, maybe 60 down, 60 up, to maintain the social distances, 1 meter apart, of church members seated. And so that is the number we are expecting.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is it going to be multiple services or just one service?
We want to start one service first, see how it goes, and then progressively we go ahead with the other options.
So can we also go in and watch a little bit?
Yes, please, let's go. Yeah.
It came with an expectation. The word declares that the expectation of the righteous will not be cut short. We pray for divine protection over the life of your children.
Let me also talk to some worshippers how it feels like, to have church service now in full. Okay, so I have a lady here. Welcome to Citi Newsroom. How was it for you, when churches were closed?
It was a bit disheartening, knowing that you couldn't have the normal fellowship, come to church and pray. So it wasn't all that nice.
Wow. Right, so now that bit is off. Now the president said that we can all go back to church. We can have a 2-hour church service. How did you take this news?
It was good news because now you could go out, you could have your normal service, sing freely. Just that still the fellowship, the fraternizing is not all that way. But it's a bit okay. We thank God that we are alive to experience worshiping God again. We try to be careful. Adhere to the normal protocols that we are supposed to, with our nose mask, wash our hands before we enter, and not standing in groups and talk like we used to do. So a little bit of change there, but we need to adhere to those protocols so that we can save us. It's a bit scary though, so we are not out of the woods yet, but we are trusting that going through the normal protocols, our God will protect us.
Absolutely. So thank you very much, Clara. You can now go wash your hands. Right, so let me talk to this lady too. Good morning. Welcome to the Citi Newsroom.
Amen. Thank you.
All right. So, you have so what is your position here?
Yeah. When you come to church, you wash your hand and clean. Then I shoot you. After shooting, you write your name. Then you go to the room.
Okay. Right. So if someone comes and the person's temperature is above normal, what happens?
Yeah, we have medical officers here, so I'll just call them to attend to the person.
Are you the only person doing this?
No, we are two, but today we run shifts.
Right. So in a day, you are going to be doing this for about over 100 people.
No, because of the COVID, we don't actually come to church. Only the elders and those who have program comes to church. So only about 30 or 20 people, at time 30, 20 people comes to church.
But now the president says we can all come back to church. So we are going to have the whole church come back. Are you prepared? Are you ready for them?
Yeah.
And what happens to you? Are you going to be listening to the preaching yourself? Because if you're standing outside doing this,
we record it, so later on we listen to the preaching.
Right. So as you can see, the mood generally among worshippers is that of excitement. People are just too happy that church is back in full session, but they keep telling me that they are going to be observing all the safety protocols. This is the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. So this is the Hanson Road SDA Church, and I have here with me an elder of the church, Mr. Sivard Davis, and he is going to be telling us what is going on now, in fact, what has been going on until now. Thank you very much, and welcome to the Citi Newsroom.
You're welcome.
Right. So, Mr. Davis, tell us, how has church been so far? Since the president announced that churches could come in and do 1 hour and also have a maximum of 100 people, how has it been?
Yeah. And when the option was given that we can come with 100 people, we had a meeting here, and we realized the way our pews are, it will be very difficult because we have in our churches, we preach in English. It is being translated into Ga and the Tree. So the number is very huge. So because of that, we had a meeting and decided to hold on to see how far we can manage. But we realized it will be a little bit difficult. So because of that, we were not coming. But we were communicating with the church members through the WhatsApp messages and all that, until we've decided that today, the 1st of August, we'll be meeting to have a final decision from the board. And then we'll circulate it to the members, and then we'll know how we'll arrange.
So, if I understand you correctly, since March, since the president announced a ban on religious activities, until now, there hasn't been any church service.
No church service. There has not been any church service, but we've been asking the members to use 3 ABM. So in the mornings, 3 ABM do Sabbath school study, then in the afternoon there's divine service, which the members are enjoying.
But some of the SDA churches are open. They've been going to church. So why is your case different?
Yeah, our number is very huge.
How many people do you have in church?
Normally, in the week, we have about 300 plus members at church. Okay. Yeah. So we're having it difficult to meet because of the large number.
Wow. So if you had difficulties in meeting, when you were given the 100 member cap, how is it going to be now that everyone is supposed to come back to church? Because you still have to observe the social distancing.
Exactly. That is why I'm saying the board will meet today and take that final decision, whether we'll be running or shift or whatever. I cannot decide what the board will decide for.
All right. Thank you very much, Mr. David. So when the board decides, we'll come and visit you. So we are still on the streets finding out from churches how ready they are to go back to church in full capacity. So I'm currently here at the Holy Trinity Cathedral Anglican Church on the High Street. Now there are some activities going on right behind me, so I'm going to get closer and find out what exactly is happening and how church will be like tomorrow. So what is happening? What are you guys doing?
Every 2 weeks we come here to clean the stuff we use in church. So that's what we are doing today.
Okay. So have you been coming to church, since when the president announced the partial opening of churches? Were you guys coming?
Yes, I think we did our reopening, I think latter part or middle of June, I guess. Okay. So we started with service around that time. Okay. So we have been coming to church.
But now it's no longer 100 people, so now we're going to have the whole congregation come back, but of course social distancing will be observed. How do you feel about that?
For my opinion, I don't really have a problem with it because after I go to work every day. So coming back to church full capacity, I think it's in order.
How do you feel about it as a Christian?
I'm excited that we'll meet and congregate and worship God. So I'm excited about it.
In terms of social distancing and the other protocols, how is it going to be like?
We have been observing that already. So I don't think it's going to change anyway. But we have more than one service in a day, and then we have 3 different chapels we use. Yeah, so we already do the social distancing from the start, like the 100. And so with the 200, I think it's starting tomorrow. So we'll come tomorrow to see how it will go. Yes.
Thank you very much. Okay. Right, so this is the Holy Trinity Cathedral Anglican Church on the High Street, and I'm being told that church has been in session, after the president announced the partial opening and lifting of the ban on religious activities. But tomorrow is a whole different experience, and so they are excited about it, and they are just waiting to see how it's going to be like tomorrow. This is the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. So I am now in the auditorium of the Holy Trinity Cathedral Anglican Church on the High Street. Now, when I look around, I can tell that preparations are being made for tomorrow's church service. There is a vacuum cleaner and a whole lot of activities going on outside. Now, one interesting thing that I have also observed is how the church is observing social distancing. Now, you can see that numbers have been pasted on the chairs just to tell people where to sit, making sitting arrangements very, very easy. And so when you come, you just have to sit at the number in front of you. And so it appears that we have just 3 people on a row, and the ride after, there's nobody there. And so if there's one person sitting here, this space is empty, and then the next person will come here and 3 on a row. And so this is how it is going to be. Now, I'm being told that this has been the arrangement since the president announced the coming back of the church, but for 100 people. And so as we move to having church service in full capacity, this is how it's also going to be. And it won't be any different from how the practice has been so far, and I'm being told that it is going to be multiple services. And so if you are thinking of coming to church, it is quite obvious that you are going to be very, very safe. This is the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV.
Well, the Chancellor of the Kwame Nkrumah University of Science and Technology, Otumfuo Seitutu II, and the new Vice Chancellor, Professor Rita Akusia-Dixon, have reiterated calls for government to complete the KNUST Teaching Hospital project, on which work began 12 years ago but remains abandoned. Now, speaking during the investiture of Professor Rita Dixon, President Akufo-Addo, however, assured that work will soon begin on the project. Citi News' Edward Oponmafo reports.
During the investiture of Professor Rita Akusia-Dixon as KNUST's new Vice Chancellor, aside from the congratulatory messages and well wishes, one major issue that dominated the speeches is the state of the abandoned KNUST Teaching Hospital. The project has remained uncompleted for years, and several appeals have been made to successive governments to ensure work resumes. At today's investiture, the speakers once again called on the president to ensure the completion of the project. First to reiterate the call was the Chancellor of the University, Asantehene Otumfuo Seitutu II.
The KNUST Teaching Hospital project, which on completion will accelerate the education and training of medical and allied health professionals for health self-delivery in the country, has been on the drawing board from 2008, 12 years, which seems to be abandoned due to lack of funds. I have written to you, Your Excellency, through the Minister of Finance, and I do hope that it is a priority on Your Excellency's healthcare agenda.
Reacting to the issue, President Akufo-Addo assured that he will ensure work resumes on the project.
If our nation is to be a successful part of this global development, the output of this university is going to be seminal, and that is the size of the responsibility that has been conferred on you today. I have no doubt that you will be up to it, and your tenure of office will be well received by history and will be marked also by the construction of the teaching hospital, which is so dear to your heart, and to that of Otumfuo Asantehene and Chancellor.
On her investiture as the new Vice Chancellor of the University, Professor Rita Akusia-Dixon said she aims at making KNUST globally competitive in science and technology under her leadership. She also outlined some initiatives that she believes will help uplift the image of the university.
As I announce my vision today, I earnestly pray that it becomes our collective vision as an institution so that together we can work towards its realization. My vision is to position KNUST as a competitive global research-intensive institution for the advancement in science and technology for industrial and social uptake towards sustainable national and global development. The purpose of a vision is to set a destination. As we envision KNUST to become a preeminent research-intensive institution on the globe, we also see KNUST as a destination for research innovations and inventions to solve societal problems. I look forward to realizing a university where if Ghana, Africa, or the world questions, KNUST will be ready with the answers.
The Asantehene also commissioned new infrastructural projects within the school.
You're still live on the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. We take a breather here. When we come back, we'll take you to the Western region, specifically the Elembele constituency, where in a rather bizarre situation, the district chief executive and NPP's parliamentary candidate has had his eligibility challenged in the ongoing registration exercise.
Details of that story and several others when we come back.
Rigworld Solutions, forging the frameworks of Ghanaian industry. Engineering solutions from the heart of Takrady, Kejebil. At Rigworld Solutions, we manufacture industrial bolts and nuts, fasteners, hoses and fittings for the extractive and petrochemical industries. World-class products with local expertise. Locate our factory in Kejebil of the Takrady Takwa Road. Call 0302 949917 or 0540 107504. Email enquiries at rigworldsolutions.com. Rigworld Solutions, crafted in Ghana, engineered for the world.
We're about to change your Sunday night for the better.
Prophecy is not for useless things and loose, frivolous things. Prophecy is for weightier matters.
We will bring you the most captivating guests and explore the most amazing stories. Your way to stardom was really planned.
Calculated and was falling in place.
I wanted like a specific future for myself. First, I'm gonna gain my popularity. Second, help must come from it. Like upside down like this.
You know it. We will dazzle you with real life situations and examine mind-blowing topics.
Bobby says he can pay me. I want to show him cash. Good one.
So is that what it's about?
Oh yes, I'll prove to this guy. Cash.
Draw your swords. Deuteronomy 8:3. Charge.
Join me, Frema Binyami,
and me, Ato Kwamna, every Sunday at 7 p.m. on Citi TV. Are you ready?
Upside Down, every Sunday, 7 p.m. only on Citi TV. Hello again. Checks by Citi News show that drivers at various stations in Accra have begun complying with a 10% reduction in transport fares. Now, it follows a decision taken by the Transport Ministry and stakeholders to reduce fares after the President announced commercial vehicles could now take full capacity. The reduction took effect this morning. Citi News' Jessica Ayoko Aye has been speaking to some drivers in the following reports.
Transport fares have been reduced by 10% effective Saturday, August 1, 2020. This leaves only 5% of the 15% increment, which takes effect from August 1. The decision was taken after a meeting between transport operators and the Ministry of Transport. On July 7, 2020, government approved a 15% hike in transport fares to cushion transport operators against the impact of the social distancing directive on their businesses. Government approved the 15% increment in transport fares following fuel price hikes amid social distancing in vehicles early last month. However, the easing of COVID-19 restrictions on the transport sector ignited calls for a reduction in the fares. The Chamber of Petroleum Consumers, COPEC, had echoed the voices of many commuters by calling on stakeholders within the transport sector to reduce transport fares. The call came hours after President Akufo-Addo, in his 14th address to the nation on Sunday, 26th July 2020, said commercial vehicles could now take full capacity. According to COPEC, every revenue that commercial drivers had lost before the announcement is now restored. Thus the call for a reversal of the new fares. Some drivers at Circle in Accra spoke to Citi News about the reduction in transport fares.
First reach near 2 cities 80 pesos. Say about 2 cities 60 pesos. Yeah, 20 pesos. I know they are slow there, but as time goes on, then they are starting to get a few money on improvement the so far, I said, yeah, government in but is slow, but all the same, yeah, as time goes on, and never to me as Santi. You're more by
yes, for Adaraka Cooperative Transport Society, SEC, and Yashasi, and the 1st August, and Yashasi, I the first near the 2 CD 40 pesos, and I buy any GPIT for a transfer and almost my 15%. Say, young far and can't win. It's answer near the Nipamian instead of 4 persons. It's in a bus. I buy some people say, Sadia. And then come into fair new kakra for 15%. First, near pay more than 15%, but they could get 15% in demand. It is so musa. Into a tree, I buy yes, young sign fire normal, and you know, person now, phone. I come back, say, I say, oh, you're scientist. I say, a scientist. 10%.
In a rather interesting development, the NPP's parliamentary candidate for the Elembele constituency, Kwesi Bonzo, who is also the district chief executive, cannot have his voter ID card until he has successfully defended himself before the EC's adjudicating body. This is because a resident challenged his eligibility at the Ariabo Junction DA Primary School Registration Center. The candidate, who is also the DCE for Elembele and also hails from the town, told Citi News the incident is a clear indication of the frustration of the NDC as they face an imminent defeat in the constituency.
It's funny enough, this is my hometown. My father hails from here, and the laws of the country says that you either hail from a particular area or you are a resident there. I'm sure they have not read the laws of the country. If they had read it, they will not even challenge my registration here. Because my dad is alive, he comes from here. I was brought up in this town. I have been contesting elections in this constituency since 2012. So I don't understand how anybody in his right senses will even think about. Maybe they are scared that I'm registering here. I think that's the only thing I'll talk about. That they are so scared that they think registering here gives me victory, which is of course what is going to happen. But I believe they are going through the process. So we'll go to the review. And if I'm qualified to be a registered voter here, the process will determine it. So for now, it's prejudicial to act on it. But I'm very happy that it has gone on very smoothly. The gentleman exercises his legal right to challenge me as a sitting DC and as a parliamentary candidate. Maybe they don't want me to register so that I cannot contest as a parliamentary candidate. But basically, this is my hometown. Once I'm challenged, my card has been taken from me, pending the review. But I must say there's no basis for the challenge except it being political.
And as the EC registration enters its final stage, turnout has been very low at most registration centres. Citi News visited in Bimbilla in the Nanumba North municipality in the northern region. Citi News' Mohammed Aminu M. Alabira visited some of the centres and has come through with this report.
Some of the notable centres in Bimbilla town are the Nuria Center A and B, Suburna Palace and the Magistrate Court. Registration started late in some of the centres, and registrants who went to the centre were frustrated over the delayed arrival of registration officials. As at 7:30 in the morning, officials at Nuria Center A were yet to arrive. Some registrants who went there as early as 5 a.m. got frustrated and shared their frustration with Citi News.
People are here over an hour now and they haven't yet started. We don't know what they are trying to tell us.
Since in the morning we were here, we delayed, but they didn't come up to now, they didn't start. Now we are just suffering. They are saying they don't have this and that. So that's what they are arranging now. But now only the teacher that they didn't arrange, the feeling that they are doing, but the teacher they don't take up to now.
Okay. They're supposed to start on 6 o'clock or 6:30, but now they have not yet come. But we don't even know the reason why they didn't yet come. Okay. So we are pleading, or we are calling for assistance to let them come.
There was general low turnout in most of the centres in Bimbilla. Registration officials attribute the low turnout to the stellar festivities, as today is the day most people were busy sharing food. Some of the registration officials have been speaking to Citi News about what they think is the cause of the low turnout and hope tomorrow will improve.
Because of the ministry has celebrating the Salah, so we urge them tomorrow will come in.
I don't know whether it's because of the Salah or what.
Okay.
As you can see, we are sitting down idly, we don't do anything.
And this polling station used to be very huge.
Yes, actually we've also heard it before we came, but as you can see, we are just sitting down, we don't do anything.
Another observation by Citi News was adherence to the protocols, like social distancing and wearing of nose masks. Most of the people were without nose masks and also did not observe social distancing protocols. Andani Zakaria is a registration officer at one of the centers in Bimbilla.
It's all over the place because that's their traditional culture that you talk to them and they are not ready to listen.
But you are to ensure that?
Yeah, once I'm to ensure that, I'm also ready to do my work. Okay. So in order to, I only tell them, but once they are not ensuring, I only protect myself and then I go on with my work.
At some centers in Accra, some applicants were seen defying the social distancing protocols. The exercise, which was rescheduled due to the Eid celebrations, is expected to end on Thursday, August 6. Citi News' Beverly London has the rest of the story.
The voters' registration exercise has entered its sixth and final phase. Citi News' visit to some centers showed small groups of applicants awaiting registration. At the Green Hand Clinic Center at North Kaneshi, the EC official tells Citi News the reduction in numbers could be due to high participation in the previous phases.
The process have been normal, but the number of people, the turnout is just not just encouraging, as compared to previous days. We've been encountering the movement is maybe 4 will come at a time, 2 will come at a time, 1 will come at a time. So we've only look at the whole thing to be like the exercise have been in the process for some time now, so the turnout is now low. Let me put.
Officials and applicants at the center adhered to the safety protocols against the spread of COVID-19. Health officials were present to check the temperatures of the applicants, as Veronica buckets were made available for the washing of hands. An applicant who spoke to Citi News expressed satisfaction with the process.
My name is 15 to 20 minutes. No, my year, no. Oba won't check cry. Not as I was a coffee. The bizarre me send me Ghana card, and I meno. May I deny Ghana card and cement me and ye be. Inti no meba na was omu here 2 guarantors. I be guarantee amount. Tina che say no ani o ma sa pe no omu here. Ti wo ba won check kra. E fa wo kofi.
At a center at Avenue, however, applicants had disregarded the social distancing protocol. An EC official explains why the applicants had disregarded the social distancing protocol at the time of Citi News' visit.
The social distancing, just recently, just about when the sun began, so the shade is mostly here. So I think because of the shade, that's why they are coming back. They were all in the queue. It was normal. It was smooth. Most of them too are guarantees. Most of them have done it. Others are here. So you see a person with the guarantor. So another applicant is with 2 guarantors. That's why you see them. Most of them they've done it.
The applicants, notwithstanding, said the process had been smooth.
The challenges be answered and be but remember me guarantee be man you be to man guarantee man be koso kama 40 be so ni be say kono be koso wa wano kama problem be am face be the saban say we have to wash your hands and wash your hands, wash your nose mask, say social distance. But me buy no, me one of 2 na social de ba we anything na I say I mistake akraba bibia da na come kama.
From bibia e ko kama kama na me so me Ghana card me kan bibia nti me ba mo se me dile me do so na ma koye.
At another center in Avenue, though, the applicants say the internet connectivity had been a challenge, slowing down the process.
By Nyama Koyiku, just network na slow. A woman na ba a woman not and nama ya check a crow hano. Inticu ni mana me dasua me dear. Ye she said bedumiso. I can network and anka mako.
You're still watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Still ahead, President Akufo-Addo assures of access to tertiary education for very deprived students.
We'll bring you the details shortly. Don't go away.
Tune in to The Point of View this and every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. as I, Bernard Avle, get the right guests, ask them relevant questions on issues that matter to you.
What is the funding that we need? Do we actually sit down and leave things as they are? Or should we get more funding so that we can change how we do business as usual?
Even if you think of geopolitics and geoeconomics, we are entering an age where China wants to build its own internet, and we are seeing a new arms race, a technological arms race.
To be honest with you, it's politics. There are different dynamics in politics. I'm sure some people didn't give anything, some people gave some. It depends on the people you're working with.
Remember, The Point of View is live every Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m. only on Citi TV.
Point of View is powered by Airtel Tigo Extra. Even our bonus data doesn't expire. You the film? Dial *111# to activate now. Airtel Tigo. Life is simple.
Again, the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, says government support to the institution has helped in its education on COVID-19 to the masses. Government in June donated 50 vehicles and about 2 million cedis to support the NCCE's public education campaign on the pandemic. Speaking to Citi News during a donation by some Rotary clubs in Accra, the Deputy Chairperson for the NCCE in charge of Finance and Administration, Kathleen Adi, says the NCCE has so far reached many people through its sensitization.
The NCC in June this year received support from government to support its sensitization campaign. The NCC were provided 50 vehicles and 2.517 million Ghana cedis for its work. Since then, the NCC has been educating the populace on COVID-19 and the need to observe the safety protocols. The deputy chairperson for the NCCE in charge of finance and administration, Kathleen Addy, believes government support has been impactful in the NCCE's work.
Well, it's going very well. As you see, this is one of the cars that was donated to us. We come here on a regular basis. We tend to go to places where the population is heavily concentrated. So markets and lorry parks across the country are some of the places where we do most of our work. But we also go to the communities and all of that. So this is just, for us, it's almost routine. It's part of the work that we do already. Our staff in the car is very well known on the streets here. People know that they come here to do the education. But adding the mask today makes it an extra special event, yes.
However, with the wearing of nose masks compulsory in the country, many individuals who cannot afford to change their nose masks regularly are forced to overwear them. According to the Ghana Health Service, the wearing of nose masks should not be more than 12 hours at a time for reusable ones, whilst disposable ones are to be disposed of after use. In this regard, the Rotary Club International has distributed about 2,000 nose masks to people at Agbobloshi. The mask is to support vulnerable persons who cannot afford to purchase new ones.
In Ghana, we have about 52 clubs, different clubs that do different projects. And this is actually a national project that all clubs in Ghana undertook in different parts of Accra, different parts of Ghana. Today in Agbobloshi, we have 4 clubs that have teamed together to do this joint project. The Rotary Club of Accra, Legon East, the Rotary Club of Accra, Industrial, the Rotary Club of Accra, Osu Oxford Street, and the Rotary Club of Accra Ring Road Central. So basically what Rotary clubs do is to do good in society, help the underprivileged. We came here because we understand they won't be able to afford masks, and they may not even know the ins and outs, the safety protocols and all. So we took it upon ourselves to educate them and then give them masks which they can use and reuse and reuse. And hopefully Rotary all around the world in Ghana would help to curb this pandemic.
The gesture is expected to be extended in other parts of the country to vulnerable persons.
Something we're going to be doing, and we have other clubs, other Rotary clubs, who are also distributing PPEs, the sanitizers, the vertical buckets. So it's a global thing we are doing. But today we are sharing nose masks, and it's in conjunction with our district, District 9102 the Rotary of Rotary. A very highly populated place, and it's a market. And today is a Saturday. Normally on Saturdays, everyone will come here to come and do shopping. So we intentionally chose a location whereby we will have a space. That's why we do not walk into the market, so that people will come, collect the mask and go.
Recipients of the nose masks were equally grateful for the gesture.
President Akufo-Addo says if voted for a second term, his administration will introduce a system that will adequately cater for very deprived students who cannot pay for tertiary education.
Well, this comes on the back of his administration's much-touted free senior high school and technical and vocational education and training introduced in 2017.
Following this, there have been growing concerns about how persons from very deprived homes will be able to access tertiary education.
Though he did not give timelines, he promised that the policy will be adequately spelled out in the NPP's 2020 manifesto. He spoke on Wontumi Radio in the Ashanti regional capital, Kumasi.
Omen bia wo wiase ha the japadia kese enye sika wo asase so enye modie wo no be wo asase so nipa because anke van sanke sika e wo asase nu e wo man nu mu anga se Ghana kan se yin Bibia obutumi adwen nanso enam say formation human capital development in the baby society in Australia. It is the number one asset of any country is its people. If you can commit to developing its people, you commit to the development of the country. Now, no, free senior high school, a BB, important step for us. Now, universities. How do we make universities accessible? Right now, but we can organize a system. University loan amano. We'll have a revolving fund, a loan now. So we're working on it, and it will be one of the things that will come out of the manifesto this time.
Public office is defined by the Constitution as an office with emoluments attached that are paid directly from the consolidated fund or directly out of money provided by Parliament.
Well, there have been several attempts over the years to pass a law that regulates the conduct of public officers in the country. The latest attempt to pass such a bill started in Parliament this week. There is more in the following report.
Earlier in the week, the Attorney General canvassed for support for the Conduct of Public Officers Bill in Parliament at the second reading stage. The bill, if passed into law, will guide the conduct of public officers in the performance of their functions. The Constitutional, Legal and Parliamentary Affairs Committee is currently considering the clauses of the bill, which is expected to provide clear guidelines for contentious issues such as conflict of interest and the asset declaration regime. Chairman of the committee tells Citi News what the main issues in the bill are.
Conduct of Public Officers Bill is a bill that has been in waiting for a very long time. Conduct of public officers, that language is not new. It is in the Constitution already. And we also have in existence a Declaration of Assets Acts. We have all kinds of rules and regulations about code of conduct of public officers, and then conflict of interest. So the Public Officers Bill 2020 is seeking to give more potency and more flesh to the Constitution and to the already existing enactment.
The chairman of the committee further provided clarity on the asset declaration part of the bill.
If you fail to declare, it's an offense. It's an offense. And the Auditor General has the responsibility in this new bill, so far as I can recollect, that periodically the Auditor General must publish public officers who have declared their assets and those who haven't declared their assets. There is a provision in the Constitution that says that if after declaration of your asset, you acquire additional assets and you are unable to explain as to the source of the acquisition of those assets, it will be assumed that you acquired those assets unlawfully. Though it is in the Constitution, we haven't put together any legal regime to give further and better particulars to that provision, and also to bring a sanction regime accompanying that provision. So if you fail to declare, it's an offense. If you are not able to give better explanation, it's an offense.
The bill has 58 clauses and it's expected to be passed before the House goes on recess later this month.
And this is where we part company. You've been watching the Citi Newsroom on Citi TV. Remember that our website, citinewsroom.com, has more news updates.
Subscribe to CitiTube on YouTube for more exclusive video content from Citi TV.
Download the Citi Newsroom app from the Google Play Store and keep updated on the go.